Got it.
What?
Twilight 65.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, this is the one where Bella finally realizes that she's supposed to be with Jacob, not with Edward.
Oh, please, enough with the teenage hormonal drama.
You suck. Oh no!
Ha! You suck!
What is it?
It's Grimm's Fairy Tales. I guess I grabbed the wrong title and didn't look closely enough when I put it in my bag.
Those stories are awful.
Read it, Laura. Read it.
Which one? Which shall we read?
The one with the girl, and the guts, and the blood.
Will somebody please translate?
She means Little Red Riding Hood.
I like that story when it's told right.
What do you mean? There's only one version.
Correction, Laura. There are several different versions of the same tale. Each one varies in circumstances, the outcome, minor details along the way.
Whatever, we're gonna read this version first. There once was a sweet little maid, much beloved by everybody. Her grandmother sent her a little riding hood of red velvet. She never wore anything else. People called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother told her to take some cakes and a flask of wine to her grandmother who was not feeling well. As Little Red Riding Hood walked through the woods, she met a wolf. But as she did not know what a bad sort of animal he was, she did not feel frightened. "Good day, Red Riding Hood," said he. "Thank you kindly, Wolf," answered she. "Where are you going so early?" "To my grandmother's." "What are you carrying under your apron?" "Cakes and wine we baked yesterday, and my grandmother is very weak and ill. They will do her good and strengthen her." "Where does your grandmother live?" "Her house stands beneath the oak trees, and you may know it by the hazel bushes." The wolf thought to himself, "That tender young thing would be a delicious morsel and would taste better than the old one. I must somehow manage to get both of them. Why don't you pick some of these nice wildflowers for your grandmother?" "What a splendid idea. Thank you, Wolf." As Little Red Riding Hood picked beautiful flowers for her grandmother, the wolf went straight to her grandmother's house and knocked on the door. "Who's there?" cried the grandmother. "Little Red Riding Hood, and I have brought you some cake and wine. Please open the door." "Lift the latch," cried the grandmother. "I'm too feeble to get up." So the wolf lifted the latch, and the door flew open, and he fell on the grandmother and ate her up without saying one word. Then he drew on her clothes, put on her cap, and lay down in her bed. When Little Red Riding Hood came into her grandmother's house, she was frightened. "Oh dear, how uncomfortable I feel." And when she entered her grandmother's bedroom, there lay the grandmother with her cap pulled low over her eyes so that she looked very odd. "Oh, grandmother, what large ears you have! The better to hear you with." "Oh, grandmother, what great eyes you have! The better to see you with." "Oh, grandmother, what large hands you have! The better to take hold of you with." "But, grandmother, what a terrible large mouth you have! The better to devour you." And no sooner had the wolf said it than he made one bound from the bed and swallowed up the poor Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf lay down again, went to sleep, and began to snore loudly. The huntsman heard him as he was passing by the house, and thought, "How the old woman snores. I had better see if there's anything the matter with her." So the huntsman entered the house and found the wolf sleeping in the grandmother's bed. "At last, I found you, you old sinner!" And he slit the wolf's body open with his knife. Little Red Riding Hood appeared, as well as her grandmother, still living and breathing. "Oh dear, how frightened I have been! It is so dark inside the wolf." So Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother were saved, and Little Red Riding Hood learned to never trust a stranger like the wolf again. The end.
No, that's not how the story goes.
What do you mean, Sydney?
That's not how the story goes. He kills her. He kills her. He kills her. And he slices her up real thin. And he pours her blood into a bottle and puts her flesh on a plate.
Stop!
Then he climbs into her bed.
When the little girl arrived at Grandma's house, she never suspected anything was wrong. She said, "Grandma, I've brought you wine and cake and things." And the wolf said, "How nice. Why don't you have something yourself? I've got meat and wine prepared for you on the table. Have some." And the girl ate the flesh of her grandmother, and she drank her blood, and she loved it. A cat approached her as she ate. "Don't you know what you're doing? How could you?" it said. But the little girl paid it no mind. When she had finished her meal, the wolf said to the girl, "Climb into bed with me, for I am so very cold." And the poor naive thing slipped under the covers. "Oh, Grandma, how hairy you are!" "It keeps me warm, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what sharp nails you have!" "They are for scratching myself, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have!" "They are for eating you, my dear."
And the wolf leapt on the poor girl and tore her throat out and sucked on her blood and used his teeth to gnaw apart her flesh and ate her up until there was nothing left.
Do you ever wonder why you're single, Sydney? I just get so lonely sometimes.
So okay. So okay.
No. The story was way different than that.
I can't wait to hear this.
Doesn't it start off with the wolf chasing a roadrunner that sounds like a car horn?
Manny! That's Looney Tunes. That's not a wolf. That's a coyote.
Okay, maybe I was a little off. But doesn't it start off with Little Red riding in the hood along with her vampire boyfriend, and the werewolf is in love with her, and the wolf has like a light tan, nice body, some awesome abs.
Jesus, Manny.
What?
That's Twilight.
Okay, hear me out on this one. This is legit right here. Hear me out.
It starts off with Little Red Riding Hood holding down the fort at her grandma's house. Little Red Riding Hood holds the door shut.
"Go away!"
Little Red Riding Hood hears claws on the door and roaring. The door bangs. "Give me your basket of treats, little girl."
"No, go away!"
Little Red Riding Hood, let me come in.
"Not by the hair of my chinny chin."
Manny!
You didn't let me finish!
That's 3 little pigs, you idiot!
Well, damn, I'm done.
People. I think we're missing the point here. It's not about what version of the story is right. It's about what version of the story is the most compelling. And I have got the most compelling version of the story that you will ever hear. This is how it goes. A long time ago, in a faraway land, there was a young girl who lived with her mother near the woods. She often wore a red hooded cloak, hence her name, Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red's mother never let her go play in the woods, especially at night. Whenever Little Red would ask why, her mother would tell her to hush up and go to her room. Little Red wondered what could be so bad about the woods. One day, something unexpected happened. Little Red's mother told her to take a basket of goodies to her grandmother, who lived on the other side of the woods. "Please be quick. I don't want you wandering around in the woods after dark." "Okay, Mother," replied Little Red. She set off into the woods with the basket of goodies. As the day went on and the sun began to set, Little Red Riding Hood realized that she was lost. Around and around she went in circles, searching for a way out. She looked up into the bright sky and saw a full moon shining bright through the darkness. "Oh dear, it's so late. I must find a way home." Suddenly, Little Red dropped her basket. She looked at her hands and they grew to enormous size. Her nails expanded into great claws, her nose elongated into a snout, her whole body became covered in fur. She was a werewolf. Overtaken by her animalistic drive for human flesh, Little Red bounded off towards her grandmother's house. When she entered the house and approached her grandmother's eyes widened in shock. "What big claws you have! What large eyes you have! What sharp teeth you have!" exclaimed the grandmother. Little Red just stared at her grandmother, mouth watering. Slowly, she lifted the hood off of her face, revealing her full transformation into a werewolf. She lunged forward and sprang through the air, eyes ablaze, mouth open wide, teeth ready for the kill.
No! The stories are all too scary. Why can there ever be a happy ending?
Well, I was gonna tell the happily ever after story about Bella and her werewolf man, but...
Enough! Voy a decir la lección de verdadera, and that's it! Había una vez una niña y todos la llamaban Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mom told her to take a basket of treats to her abuelita. On her way to her grandma's house, ella se encuentra con un lobo. Por favor, let me have some food. I'm starving, dice el lobo. Oh, pobrecito. I'll give you something to eat, replied the girl. Just as Little Red Riding Hood was about to feed the wolf, ella escucha a su abuelita. No le des comida a ese lobo. Es un vago. But Grandma, he's just hungry, she replied. The wolf looked at the grandma and pleaded. Por favor, viejita, I need some food. Ay, bien, said the grandma. Yay, let's have a picnic, dice Caperucita. Y los tres de ellos have a wonderful picnic together. When they were all done, Abuelita dice that since the wolf had been such well-behaved, Caperucita could take him home and keep him as a pet. So they all lived happily ever after. Fin!
Not bad.
Are you kidding me? That's nowhere near as good as the version I told.
Or as creepy as the one I told.
That's the point. It's supposed to have a happy ending. These stories are supposed to teach kids valuable lessons. En un mundo con tanta violencia y dolor, we need to teach them how to build a better world.
You know, I never should have brought this thing.
Next time, I say we just bring a guitar, sing some songs.
What? Get all hippie with each other?
Look, just because you're a fan of morbidness doesn't mean...
Guys, calm down. If there's one thing we should have learned tonight, we should have learned that Bella should have chose Jacob, not Edward.
Manny!
Ugh. Hey, Sydney, where are you going?
Back to the shadows, from whence I came.
We're in my backyard, you moron.
That's funny.